So the transfer window is upon us, albeit for another 9 days. Then it closes again for 6 days, then opens again. Far too complicated, and it doesn't really matter anyway because the transfer speculation will continue even for those 6 days in which the window is closed. However, we've got some new people on the channel, some lovely people who have subscribed, so I think it's probably wise to manage expectations at this point. Get a little bit of an understanding maybe for people that have not been here and not been following the channel for years. The transfer window, it is silly season. There's a lot of rumours, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of which I just don't believe. But just because I don't believe something doesn't mean that I won't speak about it and probably laugh at it and sometimes be a little bit shocked and say, I cannot believe that this would possibly be true. We got one of those instances today, and that's what I'm going to discuss. But I just wanted to make the point. Some of this stuff comes from the TV, some of it comes from radio, some of it comes from just people speculating about it, newspapers, websites, whatever it is, it's just basically a mishmash of news surrounding West Ham. So, just want to make that point now, because now's the time to check out if you're not interested in that sort of stuff. So, this latest one was something that, as I understand, was on Sky TV this morning. Now, so I don't have a link or anything to show you, and I was alerted to the fact this happened by West Ham Central, which is a big Twitter, big X account, and it was, I guess it was on the Sky News sort of transfer roundup type thing where they get the people in, they sit around the table and they say, okay, let's discuss what each club is doing. And I was sort of alerted to this, and it said West Ham want a number 9 and a midfielder, right? So obviously a striker. Where's that leave Nicholas Fulkrug? We've discussed that already, but Fulkrug himself seems to think he's staying. He seems to be quite confident. I don't believe that bit, by the way. A number 9 and a midfielder. Well, okay, there's nothing particularly sensational about that. We all believe that is going to be the case. Those are our 2 priority positions. Whenever I hear that, though, I don't know about you, it makes me a little bit nervous because I'm looking at that squad thinking we need more than that. And we all know that we need more than that, right? This is going to be a big, big summer for West Ham. But it's the second part of the report. It says, but the rest of West Ham's summer plans are yet to be drawn up. What? The rest of West Ham's summer plans are yet to be drawn up. If I'm reading this right, and if I understand it, and I cannot be any more honest, and I did not see the update, but there's a few people, you can see this, people are talking about this on WhatsApp, it's being reported on social media, so I have no doubt that during the morning's transfer report, this is what Sky Sports said. West Ham want a number 9 and midfielder. As for all the others, yet to be drawn up. That is it just me, or is anybody else a little bit worried about that? Because I'm not surprised, I guess, because as you'll know, one of the main thing I've been worried about, and I've been saying for a little while, I'll chill out once I see we're competent and we can sign a couple of players. My biggest worry is that we're not going to be any good at this stuff, and without, I'm not going to spend the next 5 minutes explaining why, but it just, if I can explain it in 20 seconds. Carl Macaulay and Graham Potter have never done this job before. Carl Macaulay was a data analyst. All Graham Potter's been as a coach. These two are now in charge of recruitment. They've never done it before. They've never, ever done it. We've sacked our director of football, which is fine if you believe that particular person is not the right person for the job. But we've not just sacked the director of football in Tim Stight and we've thrown out that whole model. That whole model's gone. We're not going for director of football. So what we've got is we have got a data analyst who has become head of recruitment. He's never done that before. We've got head coach who's now being manager and is choosing players. He's never done it before. And we now don't have a deal closer and a negotiator. So what's going to happen is David Sullivan is now going to reprise his role, which he'd sort of dropped for 12 or 18 months. He's going to be the deal closer. So that in itself made me nervous. Oh, this is not good. How are we going to get deals over the line? But anyway, so I was hope that we're going to be able to do it. Stuff like this, like these reports, does not help. I'm going to read it again. Sorry. West Ham want a midfielder and a number 9, but the rest of their summer plans are yet to be drawn up. I mean, that is... I shouldn't... Just because I'm not surprised doesn't mean that I'm not impacted by that. That is a major, major concern, and the very stuff I was worried about. How are we going to do this stuff? We decided not to sign anybody in January if you discount Evan Ferguson, and you can discount Evan Ferguson. Even Graham Potter discounted Evan Ferguson. We didn't bring anyone in January because we wanted time to assess and have a look at what we need. Is it really the case that now we still don't know what we need? We've drawn up our summer plans. Players are already getting signed. This is what's happening. I'll leave the stuff to do with Gio's going to be along later on with a video about what Brentford have just done. I'll leave that to him. But suffice to say, people are already making moves. And West Ham are, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, the two main guys to get a deal over the line are Graham Potter and David Sullivan. I didn't realise yesterday, actually, to be fair. I didn't say that. I only said about David Sullivan being away on a super yacht. He's on holiday. And Graham Potter apparently is on holiday as well. And so are all his staff. Now, I think ordinarily that's fine. Your chairman can go on holiday when he wants. Your manager can go on holiday not when he wants. But at the end of the season, it's been a tough gig for Potter, obviously. But that would be okay because your director of football could do the stuff. But we don't have a director of football. So at this point where the transfer window's already started, we're not even there. We're not competing. They're all putting on their facts of 50 on the beach or on a yacht or whatever the case may be. We are really disadvantaged by this. And I can't believe that in between the time in mid-January when Graham Potter and Carl Macaulay came in, that we haven't... Why do we not have a list now? This is basic stuff, right? Summer plans are yet to be drawn up. This is where we get to the point where I say, well, this can't be true. This can't be true. But it does feed into the things that I've been worried about. It's feeding into my West Ham transfer anxiety, if you want. The things that I am concerned about. Why would you believe that West Ham operate in this, what is a new model, and certainly a model that no other clubs are following? Why would we believe that this will be more efficient than a club like Brighton or a club like Brentford? Or, no, those are not the big clubs, of course. Well, Brentford are really good at this stuff, by the way, buying players. Well, you could argue they're good at selling players as well, but they're really, really good at this stuff. I'm a bit worried that this West Ham transfer way, for want of a better phrase, that is a concern. That is a real concern. They would have been briefed on that. I'm assuming it's Sky Sports. It's not they're not just going to make it up. Maybe they would, but they would have been briefed on it in some part. I'm assuming on this. But to not have to draw up plans. Well, what we're going to. How are we going to scout the players? I don't understand this. I mean, most leagues are closed now. There's some that are open, but most are closed. What, we're going to start scouting players now and then deciding later out in the window? I mean, this whole thing, if that is the case, is predicated upon nobody else doing any business. They're not all going to wait. The other 19 clubs who are going to be playing Premier League football next season are not going to wait for us to get going. And it's not for me to tell anybody when to go on holiday. Good luck to you, right? But would it not have been wiser, bearing in mind the transfer window is closed for 6 days, if you're going to go away on holiday, you're going away for a week, if it encompasses those 6 days, does that not make more sense? Is it just me? Maybe I'm being foolish. Maybe it's an oversimplification on this. Particularly when there's nobody left to do the deals. I'm worried. I'm concerned about this stuff. And somebody said yesterday, can't he say anything positive? Well, I can, and I will. The Wan-Bissaka video was quite positive, I think. Well, it was. When positive things happen, I'm not intent on sat here being a miserable so and so. I'm really not. But that's a concern. I am very, very concerned with how the club is being run at the moment. I think it's shambolic. Now, I hope to be proven wrong. Got no evidence. As I say, I've got this extra stuff just feeding in to other things that I'm concerned about. We've been linked with loads of players. We'll cover them in another video. I just wanted to put this one out there now. And there's some really interesting players we've been linked with, and some more players, that obviously look like they may well leave West Ham. But you got, it's really hard. I think. I'll finish up on this. Pardon the expression. I think it's really, really difficult to hear for the last few months since January that what Graham Potter really needs. Don't judge Graham Potter until he's got his new players in. Okay. He's going to need his new players. He gets the new players. That's when you can judge West Ham. Okay. But when you constantly hear that, it obviously makes the signing and the transfers of those new players incredibly important. So all you really want to see is mirrored in the club that level of urgency, not desperation, that wouldn't be good, but that same level of urgency that would indicate what you're being told constantly. Forget West Ham's results this season. That's what a lot of people say. Forget it. Nobody could work with this group of players. He needs his own players. Okay, then. If I'm going to buy into that, which I don't, to be fair, not wholly, there's no evidence for it. I hope that will be the case. Buying the players gets very, very important, so it becomes a little bit troubling when the biggest sports broadcaster, I was going to say in the UK, I mean, probably the biggest sports, Sky are probably the biggest sports broadcaster in Europe. Would that be fair to say that? I think it probably is. When Sky TV, their transfer correspondent, the guy that knows, the guy that's got the hotline to all things going on at West Ham, is saying the rest of our summer transfer plans are yet to be drawn up. That's a worry.